and welcome, foolish mortals. This is Emily.
And Clayton, your ghost hosts. And today we hope you're ready for more adventures in the 100-Acre Wood. That's right, because we're talking more Winnie the Pooh. Specifically, the third featurette, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. T-I-double-G-R.
That spells Tigger.
With the passing of Walt Disney, which we covered in last week's episode, taking place nearly 8 years previous, why did this production mark another huge shift that would largely affect the Disney studios going forward? And how did we get from 3 featurettes to one beloved feature-length Winnie the Pooh film? So we hope you join us today as we discuss all of this Pooh history and more.
Let's get to it. It's time to make it magical. Hey, Clayton, you ready to cover a little mousekeeping?
Let's cover some mousekeeping. We had some fun stuff that we've done recently in the Disney Spectrum. We live near the Walt Disney Family Museum. And of course, whenever I say, hey, Emily, whenever would you like to go to, well, technically she said, hey, would you like to go to the Walt Disney Family Museum?
Usually I'm the one asking you.
And I said, of course, Emily, anything for you, dear. I love you. You're my dearest.
The Disney Family Museum is, of course, one of my favorite places in the whole world outside of Disneyland.
But we went, we're actually Walt Disney Family Museum members now.
We are.
Which we never were
very
before.
Happy to support them that way. No, I've been a member previously before I met you.
Well, I'm surprised we haven't joined the membership in any of the years that we've been together, but that's a different conversation.
Long awaited.
Now, why we actually joined the membership for one specific reason, because we actually saved a little bit of money for a talk that we were going to go to, which was very, very cool. So
you could say it's Muppetational.
It was Mupptastic. If the Skekskis were around, they might have sucked the crystal dry of this one. I don't know where I'm going with that one.
I don't know where you're going.
However, Walt Disney Family Museum hosted the Jim Henson Company for their 70th anniversary. We did
if no one knew, which I wasn't aware of until very
70
recently.
Years.
It's not opened. The company was founded the same year that Disneyland opened.
70 years. So it was quite fun. So we actually went, it was a big event. The Walt Disney Family Museum has a theater where they do a lot of these talks, but it's actually quite small. This one they knew was going to be a big selling point. They really wanted to pack the house. So we got to go down the street, fun fact, to ILM.
Or for those who don't know, Industrial Light and Magic.
We do all the special effects for Star Wars and various other properties. But they're
kit and caboodle. Actually, if you want to learn more, which we need to get on it and actually watch it ourselves, on Disney Plus, there's a whole ILM documentary that you can go check out.
So we got to go on ILM. We got to take a picture of the Yoda statue. We got to go
the fountain.
We got to go into the building there and look at cool props. They had a Darth Vader. They had an R2D2.
It was very cool.
It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But the main event was seeing the Jim Henson panel. They had Lisa Henson, CEO of the company, daughter of Jim Henson, Alex Rockwell, who was Jim Henson's assistant, and she's now like a producer. The big hit, well, obviously it was Dave Goelz, who's one of the Muppeteers.
Oh man,
Gonzo, right?
Yeah, Gonzo. He's the main one for Gonzo, but he does multiple.
They
other
all do multiple,
as well,
but he's the Gonzo. And they had their archivist who, Emily, I'm surprised Emily didn't chase down and be like, I want to be you.
I should have the
Disney.
dream job.
This was, of course, moderated by Everett Nicole Brown.
Yvette.
Sorry.
Everett? What?
Yvette. I apologize. Yvette.
Shame. How embarrassing.
She's was in the Muppet Haunted Mansion special, and she was also in Community. So I was like, oh my goodness, I know who she is.
One thing I want to say about Lisa Henson was really cool. So very sad. Wah wah. Muppet Vision 3D just closed. The last existing one in any of the Disney parks. It closed at Hollywood Studios. And there was a little clip that came out showing how she was the last person to enter the building for the final show of Muppet Vision. And I freaked out. And then we got to see her shortly after that.
In person.
Yeah.
So this was a fantastic thing. It went through the 70 years of the Henson Company, Sesame Street, the Muppets,
Fraggle Rock,
Dark Crystal,
Labyrinth,
Farscape, which Emily has now agreed to kind of watch with me.
Yeah, I did.
She said, I'm more willing to watch it now. And I'm like, you better believe it.
That's very cool. I think maybe if you want to learn more about this actual talk, we might do a bonus episode on Patreon about it. We will do
a bonus. We'll talk about our visit to the Walt Disney Family Museum. They got a couple new things there.
I'll just say really quick, just in case people aren't interested, we can move it right along, as the Muppets would say. The other really cool thing at the Walt Disney Family Museum right now, they have a Mary Blair exhibit, which is actually free to the public.
Yes.
So you can enter and see it for free if you like. I would say still go see the main exhibits and support the museum as well. That's what keeps them running, is with your dollars. So definitely go check it out, but all very cool. Mary Blair is one of my all-time favorite people that's been involved with Disney, so I was freaking out. It was very cool.
Yeah, so they always have a lot of cool stuff at the Walt Disney Family Museum. One of those fun things might actually be the Oscar that they won for Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day.
I was like, Clayton.
Apparently, Emily forgot that already.
Clayton, you got to get over here right now.
So they have the Oscar that we talked about last week that they won for
display
for Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. It's there on display with all the other Oscars, or some of the other Oscars that they have won, or Walt won. So that is very special that they have that one there. Again, we highly recommend you go to the Walt Disney Family Museum if you happen to be in the San Francisco, not the city, it's whatever. But and of course we will do something talking about our visit, the Mary Blair thing, and
exhibit.
That thing, and the Henson talk, because the Henson talk, there was a lot to learn about Jim Henson. It was very emotional, and it was very exciting. They played one clip which Lisa said, I thought this would be very funny. Everyone on the panel was in tears,
sobbing.
So it was a very special talk. We're very glad we got to go see that. We'll talk about that on Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, we have to give a shout out to our newest Space Ranger in the MIM crew, Lindsay. She's become a Space Ranger, so you can pick up your jetpack and your laser gun.
You're our galactic hero.
And we hope that you make the galactic hero level of that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lindsay.
Yes,
That's
thank you
so
so much
kind
for
of
your
you to
support
join.
over on Patreon.
But yeah, welcome to the MIM crew, as we like to call ourselves.
Thank you for the MIM crew. But of course, we also have one last thing to cover.
Another very exciting thing. Oh my goodness.
We got a new review. Fantastic Disney podcast, 5 stars. I sure love this podcast. Emily and Clayton are so knowledgeable. Again, one of us is so knowledgeable, but
stop.
On their Disney history, and it's so fun, primarily because one of us is so fun.
You?
Yeah.
You're like, Emily's not fun.
Yeah, I'm the fun
one.
one. So Emily and Clayton are so knowledgeable on their Disney history, and it's so fun to listen to them podcast together. They are such a great team. I love how genuine and fun they are together. Thanks for putting together this wonderful podcast. And this is from Megan.
Yes, thank you so much, Megan. That's a very sweet review. And honestly, this goes a really long way. I've heard the reviews help us. I'm sure they do in helping to push, if you're looking for a Disney podcast, for any new listeners to discover our show. So I believe they do help in that regard. But honestly, the biggest thing it does, it helps us. It lets us know that you like what we're doing. It makes us feel really good. We put a lot of hard work into this. So we really, truly do appreciate any kind of feedback we can get, whether it's whatever you want us to bring in the show, what you like we're doing. So we greatly thank you so much for this, Megan. This is so nice.
Yeah. Now we're on YouTube. One of those new things is we're on YouTube. So if you're over on the YouTube side, like and subscribe. We'd love to have you here as part of the journey. We've got some fun stuff planned. We'll announce details when we get closer to that, but we kind of want to grow the show on the YouTube side to some extent. But yeah, so if you're over there, like, subscribe, and we'd love to have you part of the journey.
Yes.
I think.
And also, yeah, if you're just listening and downloading the episode, then feel free to leave us a review or even just a rating. Again, that helps a great deal. Whatever kind of support we can get does really help push our show along.
And one last thing at the top of the show, if you're looking to go on a Disney travel trip, Emily's got some clients right now in Disneyland enjoying their best Disney day.
Yeah, they're celebrating the 70th anniversary.
They're overlooking from the Grand California. They're overlooking the lagoon. They got a perfect view of World of Color from the nighttime, which is a big deal with little kids. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking to have your best Disney day at the parks, on Disney Cruise Line, whatever within the Disney bucket, look no further. She's your travel agent girl. Hit her up at Make It Magical Pod on Instagram, or email us makeitmagicalpod@gmail.com. And she'd love to help you, free to you. Her services are free to you. She'd love to help you get the most magic out of your Disney trip.
Absolutely. The biggest reason for doing all this and booking with a travel agent like myself is to let you basically let me know anything you want me to take care of. I will take the stress out of your trip, so you only have to worry about going and having the best time possible. I'll deal with all the nitty-gritty and the details to get you there. So feel free to reach out and I'll get you started.
Now, without further ado, what would Walt do? We got to work on our timing.
little off. People love Disney's version of Pooh. He's as real as the Pooh they've been reading about all their lives. Milne's type of writing is so unusual that it appeals to the young and old alike, which makes the Pooh adventures classic pieces of prose. This is a quote from, hopefully you recognize this name by now. We've only mentioned it probably 50 times, I think, for the series, from Wolfgang or Wooly Reitherman. And
Wolfgang.
If you need a little refresher, he was the director for the 2 first Pooh featurettes.
Yeah, he's a very prominent character in the early Disney days as a director, animator. So if we quite like Wooly here at the show.
We need to do like a Wooly deep dive or something.
Let's put all that on top.
Let's just add
Wooly,
that to the
Blaine, all the other
list.
ones.
Now,
But
Clayton.
Yeah.
Before we get started, I just have one really important question for you.
You have one really important question? Is it really that important?
Yes.
Are you going to be able to say it with a straight face?
Are Pooh ready?
I don't know if I am.
Are Pooh ready to rumble? Are you? Can you answer with a straight face?
I'm ready to.
Can Pooh answer with a straight face?
I'm Pooh ready to talk about this last featurette. Now, with the overwhelming success of Pooh and the Blustery Day, to the point where it won an Oscar, there was no doubt at the studios that they were capable of continuing the story of Pooh and Friends one final time. Let's get the crew back together. One final time.
The last Pooh-rah.
I
came up with that on the fly. I should give bonus points for that. Pooh-un. Pooh-pun?
One last Pooh-rah in the third Winnie the Pooh featurette, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. However, this time it would primarily focus not on Pooh, but on the other titular character, T-I-double-G-er, the man himself, Tigger, as he would be the main driving force of the story and primarily act as the lead character this time around.
Tigger's stealing the show.
Tigger is stealing the spotlight. I feel like, because I'm sure that Tigger is probably the second most favorite character. He probably challenges Pooh.
Very high up there.
He probably challenges Pooh, I would assume.
I think so.
For a favorite Winnie the Pooh character.
Yeah.
So he's really trying to get it. He's trying to steal Pooh's thunder.
Let me bounce into the spotlight, everybody.
I'm the bouncy one, buddy.
Here, this makes me think of something. This is his redemption story, because we actually got a question about how Buddy Baker, he composed the music to include particular instruments to represent the different characters or leading characters of the 100 Acre Wood.
Right.
And someone asked us, where's Tigger? Why doesn't he get an instrument? I'm I'm pretty sure it's because he's not even featured in the main Winnie the Pooh intro song. So I had to rewatch the clip. I'm like, yeah, he's not even mentioned, which I'm guessing
Poor Tigger.
is probably because since they broke it up, maybe they weren't sure if Tigger was going to be a part of it from the beginning, because they just reused the intro once they got later on to Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Makes sense. Tigger's looking at Pooh like, hey, look, I'm the captain now. From what's that movie?
What?
The movie with Tom Hanks, the one that's all memed, I'm the captain now.
Tom Hanks. I don't.
Yeah, the one where the pirates.
Phillips?
Yeah, Captain Phillips.
I haven't seen that.
You should know the meme though. Tigger's looking at Pooh like I'm the captain now.
You should know I'm not hip. I have my nose in Disney history books.
I haven't seen Captain Phillips either.
I'm hipping with it with Disney history, not with what's cool and current.
Is that what we're calling it these days? Hipping with it with the Disney history?
Yeah.
Would you be hip with it if you had the Disney key or whatever? Okay, whatever. I don't know. All right, should we get into it before enough of the lollygagging?
Okay, Clayton.
Yeah.
I have a request for you, a little performance.
All right, ready.
Can you do your best Cap or Ron Burgundy impression for this next little bit?
Creative team, assemble.
Do you like I gave you the option of Cap or Ron Burgundy?
Yeah, I went with Cap, I think, on that one. Not only would there be a shift to a Tiggerific, you heard Pooh puns?
Here's some Tigger puns.
Here's some Tigger puns. So a Tigger-centric, how many times can I say the word Tigger? But there would be a shift in our
Tigger-centric plot.
Oh, excuse me. I missed a word.
You're just so excited about the Tigger puns. You don't even care about the other words.
I'm just trying to think how often and how frequently I could say the word Tigger.
That spells Tigger.
T-I-double-G. So we've been talking so much about...
But there too would be a shift in our creative
I'm
team.
so out of it. We've said this name Wooly, even at the time of the show, Wooly Reitherman, so much that these past few episodes you think...
Okay.
Yeah.
Episodes, I don't know what that word was.
Episodes. I'm just so excited.
I don't know what that was.
What's
Can we get a instant replay? It's like
Tigger's bouncing off the walls.
You're bouncing off the walls. I'm bouncing off the walls. Words are barely bouncing off your tongue.
I just love being energetic. Meanwhile, I'm kind of like I could go for a coffee, but that's a different story. So we said the name Wooly Reitherman so much these past few episodes that you might think we're a scratched up vinyl. Because we're a broken record. About him directing the past two Pooh featurettes.
You okay?
I'm not sure. Well, now that the record is pristine and new because we're bringing in someone new.
Yeah, we're bright and shiny and
we're
smooth.
A brand new record coming out of the sleeve.
We're coming out loud and clear, everyone.
Reitherman actually made the creative decision to hand over the directorial reins to another fellow member of Walt's 9 Old Men and honored Disney legend John Lounsbury. Lounsbury. We don't know how to say names here. I think this is the first time we've mentioned this 9 Old Man on the show.
This actually is. So get
I'm not surprised.
Get a little leeway there on that.
You would think that we talk so much about the 9 Old Men that we would have.
Okay, we need a 9 Old Men deep dive. Add that to the list. I just added 2 more to our list this episode.
We have so much content possibilities in the history realm.
What's wrong with that? There's so much history to cover.
I'm aware.
We're cool and hip. We have so much to cover.
Those are some words.
I am with it.
Those are some words. I'm not sure those are words that people necessarily put together with history.
We're the super fly podcasters. No?
Also not so sure.
Wait. Let's hold on here. Do you think that's very interesting that Wooly Reitherman didn't direct the final one?
So this would have been 9 years. So this is in 1975.
Oh, geez. The years come on later.
This is 1975-ish that we're talking that this is being done. So what? Fox and the Hound is in the 80s. So we just did Robin Hood.
1974 was when this short was released.
Okay. So we just did Robin Hood as a main feature release, I believe, or in the process of releasing it. So then what? After Robin Hood is we're in the 70s. So that's an interesting decision to move off to Pooh. Yes. Or at least to give it to Pooh. I guess he would have been busy with that maybe.
Because back up, Wooly Reitherman directed
Robin Hood.
Not Winnie the Pooh. He directed Robin Hood.
He directed Robin
Give some context for listeners.
I'm sorry. I forgot how hip and with it I am with the Disney history that I know all this stuff.
You're knowledgeable. That's the word. You're knowledgeable.
And as we frequently have said this episode, hip. And with it.
You are with it. You're very with it.
I am so in with it. I'm on. I'm not going to finish that sentence. Okay. What? Like the young kids, they say I'm on Flecker or something. I'm on. See, I'm not with it. Hopefully no little children are listening to this with their parents and are like, man, look at this lame-o.
Embarrassing.
Okay. Let's get back to it.
John Lounsbury. He would be the new director.
He was a directing animator on films like Dumbo, Song of the South, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, Jungle Book, Aristocats, Robin Hood, and both of the previous Pooh features.
So that makes a little sense that Wooly Reitherman would hand the baton over to him. He had some trust from him having so much experience with animating and being involved in the first 2 Pooh featurettes. Yeah. That makes a bit of sense. Fun fact about John Lounsbury that I found in my research. Mm-hmm. Sword in the Stone. Do you want to know who he was the lead animator on? What character?
Archimedes.
No, okay. The wolf. So he was in charge of creating all those great comedic scenes with the wolf. Isn't that awesome? I love that.
I like how this guy's been around at the company and he gets to do one bit with the wolf. He's like, I'm just going to animate my heart out with this bit. The wolf has a
couple really funny moments.
I mean, he's got one of the best bits in that movie, but it's one bit. That's it. But that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
I thought you would enjoy that.
I did enjoy it. This would actually mark his directorial debut in filmmaking. He continued putting everything he had into his work at the studio right up to his passing, where he played a huge role as one of the directors for The Rescuers.
Oh, yeah. He unfortunately passed before the movie was released.
Oh, that's sad.
So he literally worked on it until the very end.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah.
He was probably like the guy who decided to make Orville do the whole...
Oh, that's such a funny scene.
If you've seen The Rescuers, you know Orville the albatross.
Yeah.
That does the whole takeoff. And you might think that's a bit.
You think it's an exaggeration for animated comedic relief to play it up? It's not. It's so accurate. Look up an actual albatross taking off. It's hilarious.
This is like a majestic bird that's when it's flying in the air. It looks like so majestic. And
it's like Goofy taking off.
And it's like Goofy running around with wings trying to take off.
Yuck.
Reitherman and Lounsbury wouldn't be the only of Walt's 9 old men spearheading this project. 4 others that took part in Blustery Day would return as directing animators. Frank Thomas, Ollie Johnson, Milt Kahl, who designed an animated Tigger for Blustery Day, and interestingly enough, was also the directing animator for another famous Disney tiger. Tiger, Shere Khan in the Jungle Book. Emily
butchered my joke.
Sorry, I was like, Emily's got a typo in here. Calm down, Siri. Now we don't even know where we are. Siri wants to get into the Disney jokes.
She wants to be like Tigger and have the spotlight.
Emily's like, oh my God, what's going on?
Stop,
I don't know.
Stop, I'm not talking to you.
And Eric Larson, who would really take charge in training new animators for this feature. Oh, that's an interesting thing because this is the transition. One of the...
Don't get ahead of yourself because we might be talking more about this, Clayton.
Let me talk about this next in our next segment. From Walt's most trusted men to the next generation of animating talent.
Ooh.
So this would be one of those bittersweet moments we've talked about before in the company's... Wow, I am unable to read words right now. Company's history. When the creatives that were considered Walt's right-hand men and had been there essentially from the very beginning were now looking towards passing the torch to a new generation of creatives and animators. The old guard was putting their faith in these new creatives to hopefully continue the legacy of Walt's vision and lead the company toward endless success. But now that would be all happening without the leadership of the 9 old men.
Ooh, this is such a sad moment in Disney history.
This is an interesting and very sad period in Disney animation history for a number of reasons. A lot of these men put a lot into these characters. Milt Kahl, for example, Madame Medusa and the Rescuers. And some of these movies, while they're...
And you say you don't know anything.
While they're very well loved now, in retrospect, some of them weren't big hits at the time. And then there was even some, say, difference of opinions and approaches later on.
Disagreements in a creative control.
Yeah. And so it's just we've talked about it multiple times. Whenever we talk about a movie or something that's released in this time, it always comes up.
Yeah, it was a huge issue. And really, it's very scary looking towards how do you continue the trajectory for this company, the studios, the movies, even the parks, without the person that started it all. Yeah. Because there's never going to be someone as passionate as the founder.
That's correct.
And once you lose people like Roy Disney or people that were very close to Walt and related to him and involved from the start, once you keep losing more of those people, the passion can continue to die away. The direction loses focus. The 9 old men, that's a big part of it. They were there with Walt essentially from the beginning. So they were Walt's trusted men. He passed everything on to them, gave them a lot of freedom and trust. He felt they could do things on their own.
Yeah.
So they learned directly from Walt. Once they start deciding to retire, go in a different path, it's a little bit scary to first have them lead the company in a way and figure out what to do without Walt. Yeah. That was scary enough, but now saying, all right, it's time for me to go and pass it on to people that are another layer removed from Walt now.
One of those this is a tremendous what if Walt didn't have these trusted trusted men that were there I guess this could even be there on the Disney park side too, because he had the core group of Imagineers animators that were there with him every step of the way. Like the big names you always hear, like what is the Disney company today if at the time of his passing, there isn't these men who could at least continue some of Walt's direction and like caring and viewpoints.
The people that were incredibly close with him and understood just what this company meant. And they understood the importance of why Walt wanted everything to be different when it came to Disney having its name on something. I mean, it is an interesting what if. Would it crumble? Will we have a Disney today? I don't know.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I always like playing that what if game.
Yeah. Now, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2 wasn't an outright distancing of the 9 old men, but they were still there, but it was as if putting the training wheels on for the newcomers so one day they could ride to greatness without these legends from the days of Walt. And this comes up again because sometimes they were a little too restrictive with said training wheels. The old guard was here to train and mentor those new animators. And yes, actual animation from the new generation of animators would be featured in this project. But here's a bit of a look into just how passionate and labor intensive it was for these new animators working on Winnie the Pooh.
Under the supervision of Frank Thomas, John Pomeroy animated a scene of Tigger. This would prove to be a particularly challenging assignment as the character emoted feelings not seen in his previous appearance, because remember, Tigger did appear in the second featurette. Without exaggeration, the scene was animated by Pomeroy nearly 20 times before he got it just right. And I'm sure we're going to rewatch Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but I'm sure this is a very short sequence too. So imagine something that's incredibly short and you have to continue doing it until you get it perfect to the point where you've redone it 20 times. Now, Pomeroy, here's an actual quote from him. He said, "I got very frustrated, but never angry because I knew I was working for a genius. There would always be something wrong. As Tigger trudges away in the snow, he was going up too high or going down too low in the squash position, or the tail is too active, or the stripes aren't working right, or the overlap on the ears. Everything had to be perfectly choreographed, especially on a pathos scene, because you never want to be aware that it's drawn. You want this illusion complete, and if there's any little thing wrong, you spoil it."
Oh, I love hand-drawn animation.
Yeah, very, you get a very big appreciation just for how much work actually goes into creating these final products.
Yeah.
Just so much life and soul. That's one of the things I missed most about hand-drawn. There's a big feeling to it and emotion that translates in the final product from the animator to paper and the final scene that you just don't quite get with something that's computer animated. You lose a bit of the soul that way.
We've talked about a lot because in this, I mean, I don't know if this is technically a Xerox animation. Hey, but during this time, this is the time where a specific iWork. Emily wasn't as nearly excited about that knowledge drop.
iWork, not iWorks.
iWorks. Oh, I'm sorry. Came up with Xerox copying for the animation cells, which kind of sped up, made cheaper.
Maybe explain if people don't know who iWorks is.
It was Don, right? That did this? Yeah. So Don iWorks, son of iWorks, who co-created Mickey Mouse.
And Don Iwerks, father of Leslie Iwerks, creator of the Imagineering story.
Yeah. There was actually something in the Walt Disney Family Museum that we saw that he gave to it was like one of the cameras, right?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the cameras.
He donated
one of the cameras. He's like a camera wizard, Don Iwerks. But he came up with the Xerox copying method for animation. So it used to be
like 101 Dalmatians.
Used to be a very intensive process. The animators drove the original, and then it gets copied over onto a cell, then inked, and then painted, and then finally colored. They came up with a way to Xerox it. But then when you Xerox it, you get the quote-unquote sketchy look, which I love.
I'm a big fan.
Love it because I feel
it's a personal preference. I know some people complain that it looks unfinished and I don't know, like lazy, I guess in a way. I quite disagree with that. I love the look and feel. It's a very particular time in Disney. You'll just never see that again. I enjoy it.
Because you see the animator's brushstrokes directly because it's coming directly from the animator. It's not being copied onto a cell from another individual. It's directly the most connected you can be to an animator and a hand-drawn film.
So you'll see that a lot in other films like Robin Hood's very sketchy, Aristocats, Jungle Book has some of that Robin Hood, all the films from this time, Sword in the Stone. So I really enjoy it. It feels very comforting to me because again, it's like you feel as if the animators are actually in the scene with them.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of, did you see something where I don't think is it Pixar or just Disney altogether? They hired a bunch of new animators.
I saw this.
Who are going to be skilled particularly in hand-drawn animation.
I want to make sure this is actually true before we...
Well, I'm just saying I heard. I'm not saying
I heard a rumor through the grapevine.
I just have to say it. I'm hoping this is... please,
to be fair,
I hope this is true.
The Pixar movie that they announced will have hand-drawn elements.
So let's
I think
this
is kind of like this is morphing into a current events discussion with the recent flopping of Elio.
Yeah.
The problem is that Disney keeps changing their mind every 15 minutes what they want to do about this. And Elio had the worst opening ever for Pixar, but then it's like wasn't marketed at all and no one knew it. I didn't even know it was coming out until it was already out. So it's just, I hope Disney is being genuine with their approach because with how they've handled Elio and Strange World, it's basically they've set them both up for failure.
They get swept under the rug. People don't even know they're coming out.
Yeah.
And, I mean, at least from what you told me, I think we're going to go see Elio in theaters.
It's supposed to be good.
It's supposed to be good. So it's a shame that they just didn't put anything into marketing. But I hope they're actually considering doing some more hand-drawn.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's more of a mixture, like do the characters hand-drawn, do the backgrounds in a different style. I don't know. I want to see something different. So this excites me. I hope this is the path they're going under.
All right, let's get back on topic, Emily.
Okay, I had to mention it because when we talk hand-drawn, if there's a sliver that this could be coming back, I'm all on board.
Well, they've announced at least one project will feature it, so it's moving in the right direction.
That's better than where we were before.
I just hope that characters start to look different than just always the same carbon copy. That's my biggest gripe with the current trend in Disney animation. But now...
Like how you told me to move on, then you end on one more thing.
I always have to have
you punk
the last word here.
I'm ending on this. Thank you very much. I'm the leader. I say when we go. Now we go.
Then new animator Andy Gaskill also worked on this featurette, and he was quoted as, "I have a total of 40 feet. That's all mine in the film." Is that like 40 feet of cells?
Think so?
I would assume. Okay.
I mean, these are his words, so I only have what he said.
Yeah, 40 feet of cells. That's all mine in the film. I'm injecting that part, but that doesn't last very long on the screen, and it took me 6 months to do. It's an incredible art, which makes a lot of sense. 40 feet might seem like a tremendous amount, but the movie is played at 24 frames per second. Mm-hmm. If you would think that a foot is probably not even a full second worth of animation, if it's a full-on cell. So it's probably not even, it's like 5 seconds worth of time. There might be some other familiar names that were associated with this project.
Fun fact.
Working uncredited on Tigger 2 was Ron Clements, who's coming back to the company, I believe.
Ooh,
he's coming back in
so many exciting glimmers here.
I think he's coming back into like an advisory role or something along those lines.
Kind of like how Joe Rohde came back in an advisory role for Imagineering.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He's the future director with John Musker of such hits as The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and of course the last hand-drawn animation movie that's been done at Disney, The Princess and the Frog.
I thought that was interesting. He's uncredited in this, just Ron Clements.
That's interesting. Now let's talk the plot of this feature. So while this featurette largely focuses on one particularly bouncy character, we still get some fun with the rest of the 100-acre crew. I don't know why I did that.
Why did you? You're trying to be hip.
I'm trying to be so hip. In keeping with tradition, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2 is in essence an adaptation of the three of Milne's chapters from the Pooh books, in which Pooh and Piglet go hunting and nearly catch a woozle.
Oh, you should be excited about that. I know you enjoyed
is that the one where
chapter.
that's the one where they were? Yeah, that's one of my favorite things.
So that's from
now there's
the first Winnie the Pooh. So this is a combination of both books.
Yeah. And in which Tigger is unbalanced, and in which it is shown that Tiggers don't climb trees from the house at Pooh Corner. which is the second, or is that the third?
That's the second,
That's the
sequel.
Second Winnie the Pooh book.
Let's talk a little bit of release and reception. So this short, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, was first released on October 21st, 1974, for a limited release until later expanding to a wide release alongside the live-action film The Island at the Top of the World on December 20th, 1974.
Never even heard of that movie.
You haven't?
No.
I think the only reason I've heard of it was because at one point, Tony Baxter, I believe it was Tony Baxter, had the idea to use this as a way to incorporate into the plot of land that is now Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think, is there bits of this influenced in Disneyland Paris's Discoveryland? Maybe.
We might just be.
This is the only way I've heard of this film, because I'm pretty sure they were going to do a Discoveryland in Disneyland. The plans fell through. That's the only reason I know about that. Overall, it received very positive reception. While it did not win anything like Blustery Day, no Oscars, unfortunately, for this one, it did still actually get an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Short Film. So not too shabby. It
Not
still
too
was
shabby.
deemed Pooh-tastic enough.
Pooh-tastic enough to get that Oscar nom.
That's right. I also really enjoy the poster for this. It's so cute. With Winnie the Pooh. Pooh's holding a little balloon that says that on it. And then Tigger, he's holding a little sign that says, and Tigger too. Like, hey, remember, this movie's really about me.
It's all new. It's all Pooh, and it's the bounciest.
That's right.
That's a great tagline. Hip hip POOHRAY for the mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh now. In keeping with Walt's original vision for a full-length Winnie the Pooh feature film, the decision was made to make Walt's unrealized dream into reality. 3 years after the final Pooh featurette was released, in 1977, all three featurettes would be combined into one package film.
That's right. We're getting them combined.
Just the way Walt truly wanted. In honoring what had come before, the film opens just as the shorts previous had, with live-action shots of Christopher Robin's bedroom before we were taken inside a storybook.
I think that's cool. They still kept the original introduction for this.
This wouldn't be a matter of sloppily bundling together what had been created. New animation was produced to seamlessly connect the featurettes together, along with a new final scene to conclude the movie with a perfect bow.
Bow.
A bow. Take a bow.
Take a bow. Put a bow on it.
It's like one of those words, and that's both of them, because you could bow.
Yeah.
Maybe Winnie the Pooh is bowing and not doing it with a bow. I don't know. Now, we'll talk more about this final scene once we actually watch it, because we're still going to do that.
We need Clayton to actually see it for the first time.
All of Pooh's animation would now have a new home for all to enjoy under the name The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but we will talk more about that next week. This is a little shorter episode because it just made sense from the story that we're telling just to cover the third featurette, and then we'll get into the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh next week.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
We're going to be talking characters, music, all kinds of good all Pooh-tastic things, right?
The Pooh-tastic making of the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
and then the week after that,
Walt's final dream.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Epcot.
I mean,
Well, he had a lot of dreams.
Yeah.
But this was what he always wanted for Pooh. So it's really sweet. We'll actually get to talk about how it was all put together.
Yeah. So that'll be next week. And then we'll actually get to talk about the movie once we watch it, which will be shortly thereafter. But yeah, so that's all for this week. We hope you are enjoying Winnie the Pooh. We still got a lot of Pooh to talk about. We got Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. We got the parks of the Pooh
I like
parks.
how you originally said this was going to be Pooh month. I'm like, it's going to be more than Pooh month.
It's now a Pooh thing. This is a whole Pooh thing.
Just the way it should be. He deserves it.
So again, if you're over on YouTube, we love it. If you would subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below. Let us know if you're liking the Pooh story. Otherwise, leave us a review over on Apple Podcast. And if you want to see some bonus content, support the show, head on over to Patreon. And I think that's it for this week, right, Emily?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, remember to be kind to each other, and let's make it
magical.
TTFN. Ta-ta for now.